11-time Major League Baseball All-Star, 3-time American League Most Valuable Player, and 9-time winner of the Silver Slugger Award, Mike Trout has often been regarded as the best player of his generation and one of the best baseball players of all time. But a lot of time has passed since he was selected in the 2009 MLB Draft, and there's been a decline in Trout's performance since 2019. Injuries have been threatening to shave years off his prime, and the people keep wondering if he's still the player he once was. Let's dive right into the stats behind this legend to answer the question, is Mike Trout still good? Straight out of high school, Trout started playing for the Angels minor league club in 2009, hitting .360 with a .418 on-base percentage and a .506 slugging percentage with 1 home run, 25 runs batted in, and 13 stolen bases in 187 plate appearances over 39 games. This was before he was drafted by the Los Angeles Angels later that year. Before the 2010 season, he was already considered the Angels' third-best prospect, so it was no surprise when he made an immediate impact when the season started. He began with playing for Cedar Rapids, where he hit .362 with a .454 on-base percentage and a .526 slugging percentage, with 6 home runs, 39 RBIs, and 45 stolen bases in 82 games. By the end of the season, at just 19 years old, Trout was named a Baseball America's All-Star as well as a Topps Class A All-Star. He also received the Topps Minor League Player of the Year award, becoming the youngest player to win the award. The Angels promoted Trout on July 8, 2011 to replace the injured Peter Borges in center field, and he made his Major League debut that night. He had his first career Major League hit in the next game, and first Major League home run against the Baltimore Orioles pitcher Mark Worrell on July 24th. On August 30th, he became the youngest Angel to hit 2 home runs in one game. By the end of the season, he was named Baseball America's Minor League Player of the Year after hitting .326, .414, .544 with 11 home runs, 38 RBIs, 82 runs scored, and 33 stolen bases in 91 games. The 2012 season came, and it was enough to clear any doubts about Trout's greatness. On June 4th, he recorded his first career 4-hit game. 15 days later, recorded his second and his third on the 27th of the same month. After batting .372 with 3 home runs and 16 RBIs, Trout was named AL Player of the Month and AL Rookie of the Month. The following month, he broke an Angels franchise and American League rookie record when he crossed home plate in 14 consecutive games. Trout continued to show his greatness and all-around skill set, from his remarkable speed to his solid and reliable defense. In 2019, he was still putting up great numbers. He had a .300 batting average, 30-plus home runs, and 100-plus RBIs, still doing it all: hit for average, power, play elite defense, and steal bases. He had become the youngest player ever to hit at least 20 home runs and steal at least 40 bases in a season, and the first player in baseball history under the age of 22 to hit a leadoff home run in back-to-back games. He had also become a 3-time AL MVP winner, 2-time AL Hank Aaron Award winner, and 8-time All-Star nominee. On March 20th, 2019, he signed the richest contract in the history of North American sports, a 12-year, $426 million contract with the Angels. But months later, in September, things started to go downhill. After a cryoablation procedure to address a neuroma in his right foot, Trout eventually had to undergo an extensive surgery. This ended his 2019 season with what had remained his career high till date, with 45 home runs and leading the American League in on-base percentage and slugging percentage. But enough of Trout's legacy, let's try to answer the question of whether he can maintain it. Since 2019, Trout has been struggling to play 140 games per year, a feat that used to be a walk in the park for the 33-year-old. In 2021, he tore his calf muscle during a game against the Cleveland Indians and had to be transferred to the 60-day injured list. In September of that year, he shut down for the season again. In the 2022 season, Angels manager Joe Maddon considered moving Trout to another position in an attempt to protect him from further injuries, but the player would not have it. For the first time since May the previous year, Trout appeared on the field in May of 2022 to score his 1,000th run of his career, becoming the second player in Angels history to score 1,000 or more runs for the franchise. He also became the first player in the history of the National League to hit 4 game-winning home runs during a series, while becoming the 5th Angels player to hit 5 home runs in a series during a 5-game series against the Seattle Mariners in June. This high was short-lived when the following month he came out of a game with back spasms, and it was discovered that he had a rare back disorder called costovertebral dysfunction. This returned him to the injured list and has since caused people to question the longevity left in Trout's career. In 2023, Trout only played 119 games, hitting 20 home runs with a .263 batting average and 51 RBIs. While his stats are still nothing to look past for the average player, for Trout himself and the people who have watched the rise of his career, the decline is visible. They are not the numbers previously seen or expected from the elite player of his caliber. To make matters worse, the injuries continue to accumulate as he came out of a 2023 game with a fractured hamate and a 2024 game with a torn meniscus. Some have attributed these freak accidents to Trout's 6'2", 235-pound frame that has been pushed to the threshold over and over for 13 years. Both his defense and offense have taken hits, and his previously impressive speed has noticeably decreased as well. How do all these injuries leave a dent on Trout's long-term legacy? While he's already 5th all-time among center fielders behind Mays, Ty Cobb, Tris Speaker, and Mantle in the WAR stats, it is very unlikely that he will be able to beat any of these players ahead of him, considering his performances in past seasons and the accumulation of injuries that are sure to take a toll on his aging body. The chances of him also getting 3,000 hits are rapidly decreasing, seeing as he only has 1,648 hits right now. 2,500 still seems reachable, but 3,000 might be a bit delusional, and while it's not the benchmark for greatness, that was definitely in the charts for Trout's in his peak years. 400 homers seem doable since he already has 378 in the bag, but it is unlikely that he will reach the great numbers of 660 for Mays or Griffey's 630. Even Mantle's 536 seems a bit of a reach under the current circumstances. So, the window for 3,000 hits, 600 home runs, and even 400 stolen bases is closing, and there doesn't seem to be signs of a great comeback. The painful truth is that Trout may be able to get up there with Mantle, but chances of getting to the Mays level, or best ever, seem more and more out of reach. Does this mean he will be forgotten in the history of the game despite his remarkable statistics? It is highly unlikely. Trout is still an elite talent. He just isn't the same as his former self. The cloud, however, is that the player is a perfectionist who can't seem to stand the idea of his old self being gone. He often refers to the old Trout in interviews, insisting that he's still in there somewhere. We're not sure if this is true or if it's misplaced optimism. After all, that was several years ago, and time only keeps passing. It is unlikely that he will be the same at 33 as he was at 23. So, is Mike Trout still good? Undoubtedly. But is he as good as he was? No. Will he ever be again? That's the $216 million question. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.